Welcome back, fast food fans. Today on Fast Food Face Off, we're doing the White Castle Crave Clutch. Let's crush some calories.
Fast food, face off! Fast food, face off! Fast food, face off!
With fall finally upon us, what screams game day more than White Castle sliders? We have the Crave Clutch, which is 20 different burgers, all different varieties. Let's get into it. So I got the Crave Clutch, which is something that they're offering now. It's kind of a bridge between the 10 sack and then the 30 Crave case with 20. And they allow you to customize these and have a completely different variety of any 20 you want. And I pretty much got everything that they have on the menu, maybe except a couple of variances as far as like some sauces are concerned. But I'm gonna try to get through this as fast as possible because there are 20 individual items here. So I'm gonna start with their more breakfasty items first and then just kind of work my way through. So first up is their sausage, egg, and cheese waffle slider. I've never actually had this, so I'm curious to see how it tastes. Let you guys get a look.
Hello again, Tasty Vibe Tribe. We're going to be dropping in with some fast food history and facts along the way, so stay tuned.
Sausage, egg, and cheese is pretty standard fare. There wasn't anything bad about it. There wasn't anything overly, overwhelmingly great about it, but a really tasty breakfast option. So next up, we have the bacon, egg, and cheese waffle slider, and if it's half as good as the sausage one, I'm really gonna enjoy this.
White Castle founder Walter Anderson opened up his first location in Wichita, Kansas on September 13th, 1921. He was selling 5-cent burgers by the sack, and he was largely credited with being America's first fast food chain.
So again, really good. Wish the waffle itself was a bit crispier, nice sweetness. It's just a matter of whether or not you're a bacon or sausage fan with those two. I believe that this one is just the plain cheese slider, kind of the OG. Either this or the hamburger is pretty much the most iconic that they have on the menu. So with the OG sliders, I basically got all the cheese variances just because I would like to see how they pair with the slider itself. That was the American cheese, which is the traditional option. And then this one is the cheddar cheese. I believe it's a smoked cheddar, so I'm curious to see how that plays into the flavor profile. I'm not picking up an abundance of difference between the American cheese and the cheddar, especially any kind of smoked cheddar aspect. I don't know whether or not it would be worth ordering any different from the regular American cheese option. So next up, we have the chicken breast with cheddar cheese.
In 2014, Time Magazine ranked the 17 most historical significant burgers ever, and the White Castle slider beat out both Burger King's Whopper and the In-N-Out Burger.
White Castle has a bunch of good side sauces, one of my favorites being their zesty sauce, and I do think that they're kind of missing an opportunity to be able to pair their chicken with the zesty sauce and kind of make like a zesty slider, and I think that it would be a fun limited time release. And guys, don't forget, make sure to head on over to our YouTube and subscribe if you haven't already. If you are, make sure to turn the notifications on so you can stay up to date with what we have going on in future videos. So I'll let you guys get a look at this one. This is the Impossible slider, and with any of the veggie and vegan style options that are in here, I made sure to get the dairy-free cheese just because I feel like that's the way that most people, if that's your diet preference, would have these. Let's see how it tastes. What's nice about the Impossible slider is that it does seem like it's almost a thicker cut patty. I'm not sure if that's done intentionally, but it adds a nice textural balance, kind of a different chew to the burger or the slider itself. But if I'm being honest, I'm not a huge fan of the dairy-free cheese. It just leaves some sort of a lingering aftertaste that I'm not overly crazy about. Next up, we have the veggie slider. And I didn't get any cheese or anything on this because I kind of wanted to have the OG veggie slider. I've never had this, so I'm curious to see what it tastes like. As far as veggie sliders go, I'm actually a fan of this one. You definitely get the punch of veggies. There's, I believe, red pepper in there, possibly some sort of broccoli or pea flavor that you're getting. It's pleasant. I enjoy it. I think that this is a nice option for people that maybe want to cut back on maybe the traditional sliders or just have a little bit of variance in the sack of burgers that you get. Next up is the fish sandwich with cheese, and I'll let you guys get a look at this one too. Obviously, it's a little bit thick cut. You can tell the difference between this and the chicken because it's kind of have like, you know, a square kind of vibe to it. Again, I've never had one of these, so I'm curious to see how these stack up. You get that flaky tender inside. There's a little bit of a crisp outside. I do wish that a lot of any of their fried options were a bit on the crispier side. I think that this would have benefited from some sort of sauce similar to the filet of fish from McDonald's. Some sort of tartar sauce and mayo would have went really nice with this. So this is the chicken ring with cheese. So I'm curious to see how it differs from the chicken breast on the slider form. Very tasty. I would say the only difference between this and then the chicken breast is honestly that the chicken breast comes off as a bit crispier, but this actually seems like it has a subtle sweetness to it. I don't know whether or not it's because the batter is different than what they batter their regular chicken with, but it's tasty. Comment down below, how do you bring in your game day? Are you guys, you know, food people? Do you tailgate? Do you paint your face? Do you play music and have drinks? Let us know down below. So next up, we have the chicken breast with jalapeno cheese. I imagine this is gonna be tasty.
Unlike Burger King, Wendy's, or McDonald's, White Castle breaks from the industry standard by being overseen by corporate instead of local franchise owners.
I would just say the only disappointing thing about the fact that it's supposed to be kind of like spicy and jalapeno forward is that you're getting the mild spices from the cheese itself, but I feel like it's a missed opportunity on White Castle's part not to have put some sort of sauce with this. So this is another Impossible slider, and I think that this is with the dairy-free cheese. I don't imagine that I'm going to be a fan of the dairy-free cheese, but I am curious to see just how it pairs with the Impossible slider. I was wrong, this is just the plain Impossible slider. The cheese that I saw was just kind of on the edge of it. This I like. You get more of the flavor of the actual patty itself, as opposed to the lingering aftertaste of the cheese. I dig this. Next up, we have the OG slider with jalapeno cheese. The pairing of the OG slider with the jalapeno cheese, I think it complements the onions really well, and then it kind of gets a little bit of a sweetness from the ketchup as well. This is just the original classic hamburger. It's simple and it's classic for a reason. They've been doing this since the 20s. Ironically enough, even though they've been around that long, they didn't introduce the cheeseburger, which was a new item for them, until the 60s, almost 40 years later. Check out our Instagram where we have some more exclusive content like store-bought product reviews. So next up, we have the sausage, egg, and cheese, but on their regular bun as opposed to the waffle slider. So I like the breakfast options from White Castle. I think that this sausage, egg, and cheese is really good, and I think it would have been nice maybe with some sort of a sauce, like a white gravy, like a southern style gravy. So this is their OG burger patty with egg and cheese, so it's logical that this is the follow-up to the sausage, egg, and cheese, and I'm curious to see what the flavor difference would be. I would say that I'm more of a fan of the sausage, egg, and cheese as opposed to the traditional slider. The spice that you get from the sausage is more pleasant and appealing of a bite. Make sure to smash that like button and please share this video so that we can grow the Tasty Vibe Tribe. So we got another breakfast option. It's just their bacon, egg, and cheese, but again, on their traditional bun as opposed to the waffle.
Data collected by Foursquare in 2017 showed that over 20% of White Castle's foot traffic actually happens between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m., which begs the question, is Taco Bell or White Castle really the fourth meal?
I do like the waffle sliders better than the way that they sit on the regular buns. There's a little bit of sweetness that they have inside of those waffles that complements the nature of breakfast a bit better. Plus, I think that this ends up just kind of being like a drier, doughier bite that could have benefited from something like a sauce. Even something like ketchup, you know, kind of like a bacon, egg, and cheese, salt, pepper ketchup. If you're from the East Coast, you're probably pretty familiar with that. So next up, we have the veggie slider, and I have some dairy-free cheese on there. Interestingly enough, the Harold and Kumar movies, which kind of made White Castle that much more popular in the modern era, one of the lead stars there, Cal Penn, he's a vegetarian. So the burgers that they had in the movie were kind of custom made for him by the crew and the staff, because the veggie burgers that White Castle has now, these and then the Impossible sliders weren't introduced until right around 2018.
I want 30 sliders, 5 french fries, and 4 large cherry cokes.
I want the same, except make mine Diet Cokes.
So this is just a plain egg and cheese slider. So I got 2 burgers left. I'm just gonna finish these up and then we'll just kind of get into the final review. This is the chicken bacon cheddar. We got our last one. It's the bacon cheeseburger. Final review time, right? The OGs are a classic for a reason, so either the regular slider or the one with cheese are always going to be delicious. But if you had to add some other additional variety to that, what would I choose? I'm going to say that I'm surprised with how good White Castle's breakfast menu is. And of the breakfast menu options that I had, I would definitely go back to those waffle sliders. I'm more of a sausage than bacon fan, so I would probably readily get that over the bacon one, but that would definitely be a go-to of mine in the morning for breakfast with maybe a little bit of extra maple syrup on top. The veggie and the Impossible slider were both delicious, and you're not going to go wrong with either one. If I had a preference to one of those, I'd probably go with the traditional Impossible slider with no cheese. So with the chicken sandwiches as opposed to the regular beef burgers, my only complaint with them is that 1, I do wish that they were a bit more crispy, and 2, I really do wish that White Castle would branch out and put some sauces on top of their chicken sandwiches, because I think that it would balance out the bite as far as the overall dry texture. Another thing, speaking of the chicken, I can't believe White Castle has not gotten on the spicy chicken bandwagon.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
If they were to do the chicken rings that they have in the sack as spicy, or even the chicken breast or chicken ring sliders as spicy, and maybe put jalapeno cheese and then maybe a spicy sauce on it, I guarantee you that it would be a big seller. As always, thanks for tuning in, guys. We really appreciate it. Make sure to share this video, and remember, if you are what you eat, always eat amazing.